Good evening, Pak Matius and all of my classmates. So here today I want to present about gender communication and self-presentation in teen chat rooms revisited. Have patterns changed? So this article was written by Sanja and Susan, and this article was written because the writers want to compare the result of their study with the result of previous studies about gender differences. And here is the outline. We have introduction, so I will show you how the reasons, so it's about the reasons how the writer used gender of teenagers, how about language, English language, and how in online communication. And the second is related literature, so here I will show you the results of previous studies about gender differences. And then the third is the research questions and hypothesis, and then data sample methodology, and here is the findings and discussion. So we will compare the results of the previous studies and this current studies, and the last is the conclusion. So here is the introduction. Why gender of teens? It is assumed that during the teenage years, identity and sexuality starts to play major roles in the lives of young people. So we can say that teenagers wake up from their childhood and then they start to recognize that they are social creatures with gender and identity. So they have a bigger interest in finding who they are, and they start to have willingness to find it, and they start to have intention to show the world who they are, about their identity and about their gender. However, it is seen that young people today become more egalitarian in their interaction. So it means that young people today have thought that all people are exactly or are equally same. So we can see in our reality, like girls can say bad words that boys say. We can see that not only boys swearing but also girls. So it's about egalitarians. They are the same. They are equally same. And then young people today become more androgynous in their self-presentation than previous generation. It means that we can see in the photographs, like boys can have longer hair than girls, or girls can have shorter hair than boys. So they feel like they are equally the same. So girls can have longer hair than boys, something like that. And then why online communication? Researchers think that teenage chat rooms could be considered as a rich source of data, because the researcher can explore all things, including the things that they cannot explore in reality, like how the teenagers express themselves in words, express themselves in expression. But yeah, because in chat then the teenagers type the expression, so it's easier for the researchers to evaluate and to analyze it. And then the second, the development of web 2 technologies changes synchronous chat in text-only technological environment into asynchronous discussion forum full of features. So there is the development in the technology. In 1990s, the technology is only text-only technological environment. It means that the users can only texting each other, but they can share the picture. They do not have any profile picture, so it's very difficult for the researchers to analyze the gender. And also some of the users tend to use other names. For example, my name is Clementine, but I can use other names, like the name that is not mine. For example, I can use Jessica, I can use Caroline, but who knows? No one knows, because I do not have any profile pictures. And then but now the forum, the online discussion forum have a lot of features, such as we can share our identity, our bio, and then we can share our profile pictures. So it is easier for the researchers to know, to analyze the gender of the users. And then why English? Because English, the gender differences in English tend to be a matter of preference. So we can compare it with Japanese or Romance, the language that have gender, because in Japanese it is a must for us to differentiate between girls and boys. So when we say to boys, we have to different words, or we have to use different manner, and when we say to girls, we have to use different words also with different manners. But in English it's just a matter of preference, so we can analyze it because that's not a must. Imagine that we analyze the Japanese, then we will get like the same results, because it is a must for them to differentiate the gender, so they cannot express it freely. And then related literature. So here is the previous studies, the result of previous studies about gender differences. First, in this case there are 4 levels. So the researchers tried to differentiate gender in 4 levels. The first is microlinguistic or word choice. It is revealed that girls use more personal pronouns. Why? Because girls have a tendency to talk about other people, to talk about themselves. So that's why it's about they use more personal pronoun. But boys use more determiners like articles, demonstrative, and quantifiers. Because why? Because boys tend to talk about a lot of things, like their hobby, and then like their activities, like a lot of activities. So the boys do not have a bigger tendency as girls to talk about other people. And then about discourse pragmatic and stylistic, it was revealed that girls use more affectionate textual acts such as hugs. So the girls use emoticon of hugs, kisses, and other things. And then the girls tend to more apologize, appreciate, and thank. And then the girls tend to agree the ideas explicitly, and then support others, and make more personal and emotional contribution. So we can see that girls are very emotional, because they apologize too much, so they use their feelings. In this case, it is believed that girls show more positive tone than boys. And let's see the boys here. So here the boys tend to use authoritative language to respond, and the boys tend to show negative or sexual tone. And then the boys tend to be less concerned with politeness, as I said before. Boys tend to use a lot of swearing words, and then boys tend to perform more violent acts, like for example, the boys send an emoticon of killing or of guns, something like that. And here is the level of visual self-presentation, or we can see from the profile pictures. If we see the girls actually have only one motivation. So if the girls upload a profile pictures, then the girls want to look good, that the girls want to attract people who see their profile pictures. And then the girls tend to attract other people using glamour shots. It means that they may by using their dress, by by editing their pictures, profile pictures, and then the girls also tend to post seductively and use partially clad. It means that partially clad means that the girls actually wear clothes, but just not a full clothes. I mean, like for example, the girls use bikini, and then the girls use hot pants, short pants, something like that. But the boys, the motivation of boys are many, so we cannot say that the boys upload pictures only for attracting other people. No, they have a lot of purposes, and boys tend to upload a picture which is fully covered. It means that they tend to hide their eyes. Maybe they look down in the photos, or they look away from the viewer, so they do not look at the camera, so that it means that they do not look at the viewers. But they can also hide their eyes under hair or under caps. And from those previous studies, the result of the previous studies, then the writers construct a research question and hypothesis as follows. So this is the research question: to what extent and in what ways are gender differences manifested in contemporary teen chat sites? And here are 4 hypotheses. The first hypothesis is for the first level, which is microlinguistic level, about word choices. And then the second hypothesis is for the discourse pragmatic level. So it is assumed that boys will use a language that is more assertive, resolute, and active, while girls tend to use language that is passive, cooperative, and accommodating. And the third hypothesis, it's about stylistic gender. The boys tend to adopt a more flirtatious and overtly sexual tone, while girls tend to adopt a more positive and friendly tone. And the last hypothesis is about the self-representation in profile pictures or profile photographs, such as girls more often than boys will be shown in suggestive clothing or undressed, so it's partially clad. So they are wearing clothes, but that's not we can say that that's not complete, like a bikini, like just short pants or undressed nude. And then girls more often than boys will present seductive behavior, so attractive, because the one and the only motivation for girls uploading pictures is because they want to attract other people, so they have to be attractive in the photos. Data sample. In this case, we will have 2 data, which are online messages and profile pictures. So let's talk about the first data, online messages. First of all, the writer or the researchers try to find the chat sites in Google, the chat sites that are usually used by teenagers. And then the researchers evaluate 27 best chat sites using www.quantcast.com. So by using that sites, the researcher can get the top 5 best chat sites, but we have to remember that those sites are not gay or LGBT forums, so the interaction are real between boys and girls, not boys to boys or girls to girls. And then after collecting the 5 best chat sites, then the researcher tried to collect the first 200 messages in 1 hour chat from each site. So there are 5 chat sites, and then in each chat site, the researcher collect the first 200 messages in 1 hour chat. So we can imagine that in 1 hour chat we have a lot of several hundreds messages, but we just collect the first 200 messages, and then those messages coded using the ID of the users, like male, female, or NA. NA means not available. So from each message, the writer or the researchers see the users who send the messages, and then from the name of the user or the user ID, the researchers try to analyze the gender. But if the user ID is not clear, then the researcher will code them as not available. For example, the ID is just like 1234A, so we can assume it is a girl or boy, something like that. And then finally, the researchers get 614 messages from males, 339 messages from females, and 47 messages from the NA group, not available. And then the second data is profile picture. So after getting the 5 best chat, the researchers try to evaluate which sites that has a profile picture features, and in this case the researchers got 2 sites with profile pictures features. However, from those 2 sites, the writer only used one, because the other site has a cropping feature. So if the users want to upload a picture, then their pictures is automatically cropped, so we cannot analyze those pictures. Like for example, if I just show my face there, not my body, but we can assume that it's not my intention, but it's about the feature of the sites. And from that one site, then the researchers chose 200 random profile pictures, so 100 pictures of males and 100 pictures of females. And then the last is the researchers analyzed the box of profile pictures. So from those 200 boxes, the researchers analyzed which boxes is filled with the photographs and which boxes is filled with other images like avatar, alien, cartoon, and other things. And this is the methodology, because we have 4 communicative levels. Then I will explain it one by one. In this research, discourse analysis and content analysis were used to analyze the data from 4 communicative levels. The first level is microlinguistic feature but word choice. In this level, the researchers used a linguistic inquiry and word count. So this is the online version. It helps the researchers to evaluate some features such as self-references, I, you, we, and then social words, positive emotion, negative emotion, cognitive words, articles, and big words, or the words that are more than 6 letters. And then the second is discourse pragmatic features. So discourse pragmatic features are manually coded using CMC taxonomy. So in this case, the researchers do not use any online sites, only applications or software, but they manually code the data. Here there are 5 categories of speech acts. There are inquire, request, direct, invite, inform, claim, desire, elaborate, accept, reject, react, repair, apologize, create, and submit. So one message should coded into one category. But there's an exception, like one message can be coded into several categories, such as react and then reject. And the third level is stylistic features. The same as the previous one, the data were manually coded using message tone categories. Here there are three categories: aggressive, friendly, neutral, mild negative, flirtatious, and sexual. And the last is image feature. So the data about the pictures were manually coded for filled or blank boxes. Filled means that the box of profile pictures is filled with photographs of the users, but the blank box is filled with other images like such as cartoon, avatar, alien, and other things. And there are three variables to code the data. The first is social distance. So it's about how the users show their profile pictures. For example, if they just upload the head part only, then it is categorized as intimate, and then head until shoulders, close personal, and then head until chest, then far personal, head until knees up, close social, and like if multiple figures visible, it's about public. So that's why, as I said before, that if the site has cropping feature automatically, then the data cannot be analyzed, because we need to analyze like their social distance. Like for example, I want to post my picture only the head part, so my picture can be categorized intimate. And then the second is behavior. There are four aspects: offer or ideal, and then demand, that is affiliation, demand is submission, and seduction. And the last is the dress, demure. Demure means we wear the dress politely. And then suggestive means we wear the dress full, complete, but like we open some part of our bodies, like we want other people to see it. And then partially clad, as I said before, like bikini, nude, and NA. NA means not available. So NA will be used for the pictures with intimate social distance. So only the head, we cannot see the clothes. And this is the finding and the discussion. First, the first level is word counts. Yeah, here we can see. Okay, wait, I will show you. Okay, this one. We can see that the differences between male and female are not significant, right? Like from the self-references, for example, the male is 7.68 and the female 5.63. So the differences are not significant, but there is difference. And then we can see from 1, 2, 3, 4. We can see from these aspects, the highest aspects used, or the highest words used by both boys and girls are about this one, social words, 11 and 10 point something. And here we can conclude the discussion is the frequencies of the keywords measured by this LIWC, the online software, are sensitive to local contextual factors such as topic of discussion. That's why we can see the differences, the significant differences in formal text and personal text. So the differences are seen in the topic of discussion, not in the gender of the users. And then no strong differences are found in the word usage of male and female teenagers, like I have said before. And then this one, some differences are not consistent with the previous research. Like I said that in the hypothesis, in the previous research, girls tend to use more personal words because they tend to they tend to talk about themselves, they tend to talk about other people. But here in this study, males using more first person pronouns. So this is not consistent with the previous research. But overall, we can say that the first hypothesis is supported. Now, next, to the next level, CMC acts are about speech acts. Actually, we have 16 categories of speech acts, but some of the categories do not have significant differences. So those categories with slight differences are categorized into other. And in this case, we can see that boys tend to be manipulative, while girls tend to be reactive and show information exchange acts. And this is the example: manipulative, like the boys invite other girls to contact him, to have a conversation with him. And then reactive means that the girls give reaction, the girls respond to the boys' messages like wow, what, OMG, something like that. And inquire means that the girls ask the information or require information, like Marionette, you not mad, are you? That's the thing. And from this data, we can see that the number for some individual acts are small, so they are grouped together. As I said before, we have other things here, other categories here, because some of the categories do not have significant differences. And then the second, boys use more assertive and active language, while girls use more reactive acts. And from this result, we can conclude that the second hypothesis is supported. And the third is about the message tone. The message tone, the data for the message tone were coded manually by the researchers, and here is the result. The boys tend to be aggressive and flirtatious, but the girls tend to be friendly. This one. And this about sexual. The sexual things are used by both boys and girls, but it tend to be bigger. It tend to be in the higher level in boys. And this is the example of the data, like flirtatious, that is usually used by boys, like any hottest want to chat, and then friendly, like just greeting and asking other people condition, and aggressive, like using some swearing words, and then sexual, like any girls like black and 9 inches, like it's very about sexual things. And this one I have explained it all. So this is overall we can say that the third hypothesis is also supported. And here is the image characteristics, the last level. There are 3 variables, and the first variable is social distance. And we can see that female upload pictures with at the higher level of intimate, so only face only. And then about close personal, also in female, the higher is in female, like from the head and the shoulders, and then far personals for boys. And then there's no significant difference in close social, far social, and public. This one. And this NA is about pictures. It's about profile pictures with no photographs. Here we have 20 male users did not have photographs and 7 users did not have photographs as their profile pictures. But we can conclude that male users' images tend to look withdrawn or to be hiding as hypothesized in this article. And then this is a behavior. About the behavior, it could be concluded that girls present themselves seductively in posture and gaze. This one, so the level of seductions is higher in female, and the level of submission is higher in boys, and no data found about female in submission. Also about offer, so demanding in submission, offer. This is about the boys. And once again, NA is for the profile pictures with no photographs. Now, this is about the trust. We can say that the four hypotheses about trust, about behavior, and about intimate and other things are strongly supported. Here we can see that this one, male users tend to use demure clothes, so their clothes are really polite, but female tend to use suggestive clothes, like they use clothes but they open some part of their body. And then both male and female tend to partially use clothes which is partially clad, like just bikini, or the male can be topless, and then nude also is used by male and female, so there's no significant difference. And NA is for the pictures without photographs, because we cannot see their clothes, right? And this is the example of the trust, like cross. This is the demure, so polite, and then suggestive, like they use that girl is using clothes but he opens some part of his body, and the she is revealing dressed, or we can say partially clad, like she is just wearing bikini. And then the second is about the boys. This is the demure clothes from the boys, very polite. And then this is also the demure dress, but the expression or the purpose is to offer. And then so this is what the stylistic, the offer is stylistic. And then this is the seductive behavior, so it's attractive in his way. He tries to attract in his ways. And then the conclusion, we can conclude that the significant gender differences are revealed on 3 out of 4 levels. The significant gender differences, remember, we found the differences in all 4 levels, but we only found the significant differences in 3 out 4 levels, because the differences in word choices is not significant. And the second, the phenomenon of gender differentiation occurs at multiple levels of communication, so not only in real world but also in online, and then is relatively stable over time and across media. We can see that the technology has developed and then the time has changed, but we also get the same results as the previous studies. So it can be concluded that the gender differences, the gender differentiation is stable. And then teenagers awaken out of childhood to realize who they are. So this is what I have explained before. So teenagers awake from their childhood, and then they realize that they have to find their identity, they have to find their gender, and they have to show them to the world. So that's all about my quite long presentation. Thank you, and if you have any questions, please drop in the forum in Bella, and I will try to answer your questions. Thank you.